Hi, we're back cooking with Sharon. And it's kind of cold outside. Well, it's going to get cold. We're in our winter season. And so, what better than to make a soup, a homemade chicken noodle soup? It's so simple. There's no need to go to the store and buy Campbell's or what other brands that are out there when you can simply do it at home yourself. And it'll probably taste a lot better. So, let's get started. Um, all you need are a few simple ingredients that you may already have in your refrigerator. And if not, I mean, it's so simple. This is what I use with mine. I use white meat chicken. A breast. You can use any type of chicken. I've actually pre-diced it today, just to make it easier to cook at a quicker pace. But you can use a whole piece of chicken. Actually, I do that a lot of times. I'll put the whole piece of the chicken, different parts of the chicken, if I have a lot of time. A lot of time meaning if you have an hour just to work on the soup. We're going to probably do this in about 30 minutes. So if you have about an hour, then I would go the actual whole pieces of chicken route and have it cook in the broth that we're going to make instead of having it pre-diced, because it'll take a little bit longer. Then I have celery, carrots. I have carrot rounds that I actually used. These are frozen, pre-frozen, but you can use, if you don't have that, don't go to the store and get it, but you have carrots in your refrigerator, no problem. Just cut them down into a smaller piece. You can use the baby carrots, cut them in half, or you can take a full carrot and cut them in pieces. And the reason why you're cutting them down a little bit is to make it cook quicker. So they're not hard pieces and they're soft. So the frozen carrot rounds that I use here, we use it for different soups. We use it for pot roasts. We use it in different chicken dishes. It's easier and quicker to use. That's why I have it here. Then I have fresh parsley that I've chopped up. I also have onion, the shallot, actually. A lot of people don't use shallots. I love them. They have more of a pungent type of a smell and also taste. You all know I love garlic. So, of course, it kind of has like a garlicky type of a scent to it. And if you want an onion that you can easily mince and chop, this is going to be one of the easier ones. I already cut it or chopped it, but if I were to show you how simple it is to actually mince it and get it really fine, this is an easy onion to actually work with. So great for soups. Roasted chicken. Put that in the bottom of your chicken, your pot, your pan that you're roasting your chicken in. It will have a great flavor to it. And then, of course, I have minced chopped garlic, fresh. Love it. And today I chose to go the traditional route, but the last couple of times I've actually made chicken noodle soup, I've used egg noodles, which I just like the thicker texture of it. But this is linguine. This is what we had here. Again, I'm not trying to have y'all go out and buy a whole bunch of stuff when you have it at home. You could even use just regular noodles, macaroni elbow noodles, or you could use penne pasta noodles that you may have at home already. All of it works the same as far as chicken and noodle soup. So I have just regular, like I said, linguine today. And let's see, what have I not? Oh, last couple other ingredients I have here is a chicken bouillon, liquid version. You can also use the bouillon cubes, and then I have fresh olive oil. So let's get started. And of course, black pepper. So we're just going to take a little bit of our olive oil right now and coat a little bit of the pan. And I'm going to take my chicken that I've already, like I told you before, I pre-diced. Just because I can't run back and forth to wash my hands, with the chicken, the raw chicken, I'm going to put on a glove. But we're going to sear it just a little. Put that in a little with the shallot onion that I have. We'll put half of it in. This is actually one shallot. So we'll put a little bit of that in now. I'm going to use the rest momentarily. And then I'm going to use half of my celery right now, just because I want to get it cooking. And then I'm going to season it with black pepper. Just a little. And most of the cooking of the chicken, honestly, is going to be when we have our broth. But I'm going to get the chicken cooking just a little bit quicker. And we want all those flavors in there. Actually, we're just going to go ahead and put in the rest of our shallot. Because we want the chicken to have that flavor already. And we won't add in, I don't even think I brought salt over here, but we're not going to add in a whole lot of salt because the chicken bouillon or the broth that we're going to make already has it in there. I may have to add it at, once we taste everything, but we're going to, let this chicken cook a little bit, and everything's going to be done in this one pot. So what does that mean? That means less dishes to clean up. Yay! And another great reason to make your own homemade chicken noodle soup is, you can't control how much chicken is in that can that you go and purchase. But of course, we can have our chicken noodle soup very healthy as far as the portion of chicken that we have in here. And then also you can control, how dense or how noodly it is. Is that a word? I don't know, but I just made it up. It doesn't matter. I can make up words. You all know what I mean. Okay, so we'll cook this down. And again, a lot of it's going to be cooking as we're making our broth as well. So one thing I did not say as well is you want to have, I have water over here that's kind of already boiling just to quicken the whole process of making this. Man, I'm tongue-tied today. I don't know what it is. And it's early in the day. Oh, well. So the chicken is almost done. The internal temperature, as you all know, for cooking poultry is 165 degrees. I won't need to really temp it because once we start adding in our broth, making our broth, the chicken's gonna cook some more as well. So we won't have to worry about it. And your pieces, like I showed you before, are smaller. So this will definitely be cooked to temperature. All right, so we're going to get this broth started. We're going to add in. And again, the chicken's going to keep cooking. We're going to bring this to a boil. And you want all that flavor anyways from the chicken that we just cooked, pan-seared. I don't even know if it's pan-seared, but we're going to let that boil. And as it's boiling too, we're going to add in, again, this is about, we're going to start off with about a half a gallon. I guess it's maybe like 2 quarts of water, hot water, and we're going to bring this to a boil. But we're also going to add in the rest of this olive oil. And we're going to add in our chicken stock, which is, I think, probably about 2 tablespoons. This is the liquid concentrated version. You can also use, like I mentioned before, the bouillon cubes. And one way to actually make this also a vegetarian option. Obviously, we would not have the real chicken, but you can start off the same way using the chicken that is Beyond Chicken, or I can't remember the name of it right off the top of my head, but it is the plant-based chicken, if you will, and it will. You can use that as a substitute, or you can use this base. We can use a veggie broth bouillon instead of the chicken, and start making our broth that way, and then just put a ton of vegetables in it. So there are ways to actually make this whole chicken noodle soup, if you will, a vegetarian option. Okay, so while that is boiling too, we want to add in our carrots, not only for nutrients, but also for color. You see, once we get done, this will be a pop of color, the carrots in there. And we want to put them in now so it'll absorb the flavor that we're cooking with. Okay. All right, so we're going to get this to a boil. Let's turn up our heat. And let me try the broth a little bit before we start adding in things. Okay. We forgot to put in our garlic. So we're going to go ahead and put in our minced garlic. And then I am going to grab a little bit more of the bouillon. See, we have it in bigger portions here. So, to make it look cute and everything, I put it in our little ramekin cup. So just in case I need some more, and just in case I need some salt. Let's bring it over here. But we're going to add in our black pepper. That should do it. And, okay. Yep, our chicken is done. But we want everything to simmer. So this, I told you before, was going to take about 30 minutes. We've only used about, I want to say 10 right now. So the cooking part, the 30-minute part, is the simmering and letting it all the flavors marinate and cook in together. So we're going to let that sit, and I tasted it. I know it needs a little bit more of the chicken bouillon, chicken base. We'll add that in. And usually I would add in a little bit more water, I can tell, but I'm not going to make a ton of soup today because I would add in more water because once we put in the noodles, that's going to absorb some of it, and we still want it to, have some liquid. I like my chicken noodle soup with a little bit of a thicker consistency. Some people like theirs watery, but you have options. So I'm showing you both, or I'm telling you both, but I'm going to show you the one that I like the best. All right, so hopefully this will start boiling pretty soon. And in the interim, I'm going to add in some parsley, the fresh parsley. We'll save some for the end for garnish, but this will be a nice flavor that's added. And then also for color, we'll see all those vegetables that are going to be cooking and looking good, tasting good, and healthy. So when you're sick, not only is this a great option for, because it's colder out, but when you're sick, you need something warm, and you also want a lot of liquids, in your system to help you fight off whatever cold or flu or, heaven forbid, COVID. So we want you to get well, and you need liquids in you. All right, let's see how the broth is tasting. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. We could add in just a little bit more of the chicken stock. So all together, you want to, we always cook with love here. So you just want to kind of taste and add. I've put in probably about 4 tablespoons of the concentrated. Remember, this is concentrated chicken stock. So if you guys are using the whole pieces of chicken, you probably will use less of the chicken stock because those, when you're boiling the actual whole pieces of chicken, you have the skin on it. That adds flavor. You actually have the bone that's in, if there's a leg or a thigh in here, you have the bone in here, and everything. Everything on the chicken is adding flavor into our soup. So That's one advantage of actually using whole pieces of chicken versus just the chicken breast. Okay, so it's going to be boiling soon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in some of our noodles. And I know it's against Italian law, I guess. I don't know. But if I was making a pasta dish, I would not, you're not supposed to break the noodles. So I broke them, but hopefully, you know, I have good luck anyways. But, and it's just easier to eat. So that's why a lot of times I gave that suggestion too of maybe using egg noodles so you don't have that long slurpy, you know, I got to eat this soup with this long noodle. So I already cut them in half. And these are a little bit big too for chicken noodle soup, but it'll do as well. Again, this is your own version of chicken noodle soup that you can make at home. So we're going to add the noodles and it's going to cook and boil down as everything else is cooking nicely together. All right. Oh, yeah. Of course, like I said, it's so simple. And like, what did I just look? We're using one pot. And if we need to add in more water towards the end, it's okay. We can do that and we'll season it appropriately. I have a problem. The problem is this, is that I don't know how to cook in small batches. This is my problem. So even though my intent today was to only make a little bit of soup, it's looking like I'm making more than a little. But it's okay. The great thing about soup, this chicken noodle soup, is what? We could, once it's cooled down, portion it out and freeze it. Bam. And then what? When you need it, you can defrost it and enjoy. So we're actually, yeah, I mean, I didn't really intend to do this, but we're actually kind of meal prepping ahead of time with our chicken noodle soup. And you can do portions, like I said, 8-ounce portions of soup or 16 would work. We might as well just go ahead and cook all this now that I'm talking myself into making some options. And I have a couple friends who love this soup, so I know that it won't go to waste. And I'm sure, you know, Lindsay always enjoys the food. You know, even though I always say, this is funny, I always say, so how was that? And he'll be like, oh yeah, that was good. And I'm thinking, man, I could have done so much better, but it's always good to have a fan, you know, someone that will say your food is good, even though I think it is, but I can always do better. I'm always looking for that critique to make it better. So we're going to let this simmer, and let me just try it one more time. I go through a lot of tasting spoons because I'm always tasting as I'm cooking. Oh yeah. That flavor is pretty good. And part of it honestly is the onions that we use, the celery, all this goodness is going to be simmered down and cooked into a nice soup. So we'll let that simmer for maybe 15 more minutes, about the amount of time that's going to take for those noodles to cook as well. And then we will be back. You can get everything ready for, I have over here oyster crackers for on top, you know, similar to saltine crackers. And I think we're cooking with fire here. This is cooking out nicely. And you can actually, I'm the type of person that likes to see their seasoning. So I know it probably gets on my staff's nerves sometimes. Like I'll come and look at something they're making. I'm like, did you put such and such in it? And they're like, yeah. But then I don't see the seasoning. But I see my pepper in here. I see the garlic. I'm going to add just a little bit more granulated garlic to this. And then one other thing that I love, I didn't put enough in my pre-portioned container, is olive oil. You can put a little bit more, so a total of about maybe 3 or 4 tablespoons. Okay. I'll let that simmer, and we will be back. Okay, we are back. Our soup, our chicken noodle soup has been simmering for about 20-30 minutes, and it looks amazing. So, yeah, it's done, and we are ready to bowl it up. Instead of plate it up, we're going to bowl it up and enjoy. So, again, like I said, it's personal preference of how liquidy you like yours. As you see right here, mine is more full of noodles, chicken, vegetables versus a whole lot of liquid. So, if you want to add in more, that's fine. We're going to roll with this, and I'm going to put it in our bowl and enjoy. It's full of flavor, as you already know, and of course made with love. Okay, so, and it's very hot. Let's get some of those other vegetables in here. And you see it's full of chicken and noodles. It's dense. So you know that can of soup that they sell in the store that they say the hearty version? The hearty version is this version because the hearty version means it has a whole lot of meat and stuff in it. But as you see right here, we've already made ours. So simple. If you want to garnish yours with oyster crackers and or I left this other parsley for us to add at the end, you can do so. But other than that, we are ready to enjoy. So again, something so simple that you can make and enjoy at home. I appreciate you joining Cooking with Sharon. Until the next time, see you later.